साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Offering my humble, loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Swami, revered elders, dear sisters and brothers. Many years ago, in the town of Dakshineshwar, a devotee, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, approached him and asked this question: Master, if the mother goddess Kali were to appear in front of me, can I ask her for the strength to build roads, to build hospitals, to build schools, to build wells for the benefit of humanity? Much to his surprise, the master looked at him and said, "Oh, no. What are you asking for? If the mother goddess were to appear in front of you, please, do not ask for anything else other than the mother. Ask only for her, for in that you will get everything." You know, Bhagawan used to like to ask primary school children, "Boy, what do you want?" And the reply would be, "Swami, I want you." Swami would be so happy and showcase to the people, "See, that's the right desire." Ramakrishna Paramahamsa added an afterthought, very relevant to each and every one of us. He said, if you can build roads, if you can build hospitals, if you can build schools and colleges without getting attached to them, then you can ask the mother for it. So that gets us to another interesting thing. How do I do any of these things without getting attached to these things? Swami gives again a very simple solution. Swami likes to pun with the words. And in this case, Swami said, detachment is very simple. Can you believe what is detachment? Swami said, detachment is deep attachment to God. What a beautiful message. Detachment is deep attachment to God. Now, just think about this. Why should I not get attached? The reason is very simple. Our human life is a bridge to the hereafter, to a state where there is complete eternal happiness. We have embarked on this journey with Jantunam Nar Janma Durlabham. But if we get stuck on the way, if you get stuck, there's a problem, no? How do you come out? Very simple. If you have something else which can pull you with a greater force, you will never get stuck. You are out. So if your attachment to God is deeper, stronger, purer than your attachment to anything in this world, no worries. The day He says, "Come," there you are out of it. But then there is again a catch. Everywhere there are small catches. What is this? How do I develop deep attachment to God? What does deep attachment to God mean? I've not even seen God. I don't know what all this means. Again, Swami comes to our rescue. Swami came for teaching us. How do I develop? You see, Meera, Surdas, Kabir, yes, 24/7 they could be immersed in divine contemplation, love for God, deep attachment to God. What about a fool like me? What happens to me? I cannot do that 24/7. That means just to exist, I need to work. Just to exist, I need to work. And if I work, naturally, it's better to work for the welfare of mankind than to work for anything else. Then why not do all those things which this devotee asked? So, I need to do those things because of my stage of existence. And yet, there is this thing, if you can work without getting attached to those works, then you may ask so. So Swami says, once in the darshan, he was just crossing where I was sitting with another 2-3 teachers, and Swami suddenly looked at us and said, it was somewhere there, Swami said, boys think that they love Swami. They don't love me. They only like me. Oh. To love, Swami continued, to love means to follow. Again, we thought love was just a feeling. I keep feeling your love. Love, is it just a feeling? And if it's just a feeling, Swami, I don't know how to get that feeling. I was not born with it. I was not born in a family where I can love you naturally. And how do you expect me to love you? How do you expect me to get deeper attachment to you than to the world? Swami says, Beta, love is not just a feeling. To love means to follow. So again, it gets us one step deeper. Oh, so that means if we just follow what Swami says, if we follow what Bhagawan says, it's as good as loving him. It's as good as deep attachment to him. He will pull us, lift us, and take us where we need to go, to a state which is beyond all misery. Who doesn't want it? Who doesn't want it? A scientist or a fool? Everybody wants to be happy. That's where all this can lead you. So the next question comes, how do I follow him? Following is so difficult. There's a very simple solution. Nothing. All you need to do is cry. Pray. Swami says you cry for this, you cry for that, you cry for wife, you cry for children, you cry for your job, you cry for your education. Do you cry for God? Have you ever felt that I need him? Just cry out. Pretend to cry. Tend to cry. End to cry, they say. At last you may, if we yearn and if we say, Swami, I want to follow you. That's all. I don't know what to do. Too many people are telling me too many things. But the fact is, I want to follow you. Tell me how I can do it. When the yearning is sincere, learning is guaranteed. You can earn his grace when you yearn. Guidance will come. Let me give you a small experience of Mrs. Phyllis Crystal, a psychotherapist born in Britain, brought up in USA, a faith healer herself. She was putting effort, as we say, yearning, earning, yearning, learning, earning. She was putting effort. One day as she was sitting in a meditation far away in USA, she gets this vision. She's sitting under the Sairam shed in old Vrindavan, under that grand tree where Swami used to give darshan to devotees. As she's sitting there, she finds that Swami has come for darshan, and right opposite to her was seated a lady, helpless, yearning, crying. In her lap was a handicapped child. And all around the lady were just looking. They were waiting for a miracle. As Swami came and stood there, they were all yearning, praying, crying. Swami, they knew that, see, Swami is God, is compassion incarnate. Swami, please do something. Swami looks at Phyllis Crystal in her vision. Swami looks at Phyllis Crystal, turns and asks her, should I cure him? And she says, yes, of course, Swami. Why not? And Swami says, oh, just follow me. And she says, she's walking as if corridors of time, through the corridors of time, doors were opening, and the path takes them back into the past, as she can visualize, understand that. They come to a clearing where there was a scene. A judge, a very cruel judge, was inflicting most cruel punishments on innocent people. And there was one assistant who could have chosen not to be his assistant. He was just meekly carrying out helplessly the orders, inflicting those harsh punishments. The scene changes, corridors of time closing, and they are back in the present in her vision. She's again sitting there. Swami again looks at her, smiles, and says, "Do you think I should cure?" And she was not some ordinary individual. She had that knowledge out of that effort, and she just looks at Swami and says, "I guess it can wait, Swami." And she says that she understood in that vision that this judge who was inflicting most cruel punishments had now become the handicapped child, and he had to overcome his own doing by some amount of, so-called suffering. And this helpless assistant, meekly carrying out the orders of this judge, had to now carry the judge as this lady in her lap. And the scene is over. There is a lesson for all of us. But the fact is, the scene was not over. 6 months pass. She comes to India, and she is in Vrindavan. She was, given the privilege of being with the students inside the old bungalow. But that day, her daughter's friend was coming from Britain, and she goes out to receive her before Swami can come out. So she just goes out through the grounds in Vrindavan, going towards the gate. As she's going, suddenly she realizes Swami has come out for darshan. To the surprise, she was caught unawares. So she doesn't have a choice. Never had she sat there in the Sairam shed. She rushes and sits off there. And as she's seated and Swami is coming near, her eyes are aghast. Right in front of her was that lady sitting with the handicapped child. Now, everybody was praying. The same scene repeating. Visions need not be visions. And as Swami comes, the only difference between the vision and this reality was, Swami doesn't ask her, should I cure? Swami looks at her, looks at the child, turns towards Phyllis Crystal, gives a smile, turns back and walks away. Mind you, it was only Phyllis Crystal whose mind was at peace. All others were in pieces. They could not understand, why does God do this? Why did He not cure? But that yearning, that effort to follow Bhagawan gave her a guidance that gave her peace of mind. Our scriptures talk of 3 things that hide this knowledge from us, that make us ignorant, that make us suffer. And these 3 things, it's Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarana. What is this Mala? Sounds, difficult? No. Mala is just simple impurities accumulated over past births because of lack of control of our desires, lack of control of our senses, because of all that we have done in our past. We need to get back the consequences. And when we get back consequences at a time when we were not doing those actions, there is bound to be confusion. There is bound to be increase of ignorance. Why this? But it's very interesting. God's grace can wipe out everything. Swami says, mountains of sins can be wiped off by divine grace. Everything that you can imagine. The great dacoit became the famous Valmiki. If that can happen to a dacoit, what can't happen to anybody else? We were in Kodaikanal, and after a photograph session, We were walking back. Swami was to get into his car, and we were to get into the bus. And as Swami is nearing the car, I was just behind Swami, and 2 other schoolboys were there next to me. Swami goes forward. There was a bougainvillea creeper, thorny creeper with leaves and those things. Swami goes there and started plucking. Why is Swami plucking those thorns? And as he plucked, I could see that there were 2 plums there. He was plucking plums from a thorny bougainvillea creeper. And he plucked it and gave it to these 2 boys. I was right next to them. So these 2 boys broke the twig. Mind you, plums biologically attached, or I should say illogically attached to bougainvillea leaves with thorns. These boys plucked it. I could see the fresh cut in the twig. Everything was real. The boys started eating it. And we got into the bus. The boys were nicely eating. Then I got worried. These boys are over-enthusiastic for the prasadam Swami gives. So I told, hey, you need not eat the seeds. Throw the seed for the plum, just because Swami has created it. And they looked at me and said, what seed, sir? It was chocolate. Sweet chocolate. Now just think about it. There is a deep message. We sow seeds of thorny bushes and thorny creepers in all our lives, doing all kinds of actions. The company of God. Follow Him. Go behind Him. And He can pluck out from those creepers, thorny bushes that you have set for yourself, all karmas. He can pluck out sweet fruits and give you. My God. That's all I can say. But that's not all. Not only can He pluck out sweet fruits, He can even remove the seeds that you have set. No further reactions. That is what God's grace can do. The second and the third we said is Vikshepa and Avarana. Vikshepa is just the chanchal mind, Chanchalahi manah Krishna pramathi balavadradam, said Arjuna. Tasya naham nigraham manye vayureva sudushkaram. Lord, I am not able to control my mind. No, it is fickle and it is stubborn. I think it is easier to control the wind than to control my mind. And with such an uncontrolled mind, Vikshepa, and then they say Avarana, the fact that I believe, look at this, that's the toughest thing that will go. I still feel that I am Shailesh Srivastava. When will that go? When will I know that, no. I am not Shailesh Srivastava. As long as I am Shailesh Srivastava, I am bound by Shailesh Srivastava and his works. And his fickle mind. How do I control this fickle mind? Here is a small example. People think that we are weak. Swami, I am weak. I cannot control my mind. I cannot control my senses. I don't have the power. Where do you think I will get the power? God says, Swami says, you are divine. You have it. Just knowledge is power. Vivekananda said, knowledge is power. Swami always reminded us, if you know, all the power is with you. Here is a small metaphor or an example. Just for a moment think, this Shailesh Srivastava cannot resist the temptation to eat ice creams. It's a good way to clean my lips also. And I cannot resist the temptation to eat ice cream. And the best of my ice creams, whatever it may be, triple Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, it's right in front of me. And I'm about to eat that ice cream. And people are saying, I know you cannot resist it, but can you stop for a moment? I said, impossible. I have never done such a thing. I cannot resist this temptation. Just when I'm about to take the first lick, not even a friend, a stranger comes running and says, stop. I said, please, let me finish this. Don't stop me when I'm just about to devour this ice cream. And he says, no, please, you must stop. I said, okay, what is it? Stop for a second. What is it? Sir, just one small information. I belong to this this lab here, I was coming out, my assistant was taking that, these chemicals there, and your boy was coming with the ice cream. And I'm just sorry, I'm not very sure, but quite sure, I think, this potassium cyanide bottle was there. A little bit of it leaked and fell off into that ice cream. Oh, I thought I was powerless. I suddenly got strength. I'm able to resist the temptation of my most tempting temptation. And I say, forget it. Who wants this ice cream? Now, this is only because of the knowledge of the consequences of potassium cyanide. I was aware. Even if he had told me not potassium cyanide, it was a chemical, sir, but on the bottle it was written, nothing will happen immediately, but after 2 years you'll become blind. I'm not ready for that. Even if it is not proved, I'm not ready for it. Just look at the strength that I gain from apparent knowledge. And therefore, there's one more catch here. I believed that stranger. I had faith in a stranger. A stranger told me something and I just believed. Faith is the key. If only I can have that faith. Here it is an extreme example, so it was easy to understand. I didn't need so much of faith. But then, the saints and sages have told us umpteen times. God incarnate has been telling us, yes, do this. This is what you can do. This is what you should not do. Love God. Deva Priti, Papa Bhiti, Sanganiti, so many things. But we are ready for the sake of my MBA degree, for the sake of my MTech degree, for the sake of my PhD degree. I am ready to undergo torture. Yeah. What torture those classes are. Even during Dasera, sometimes classes are there. What torture. Why am I ready to undergo all this torture? Because I have the faith that at the end of this degree, I'll get dabbu. That's what modern man thinks of his education. That's not it. I have faith in the power of that money. And just for that sake, I'm ready to undergo this suffering, this torture, whatever it may be, because I'll get that degree. But here when Swami tells us, Amritasya putraha, you can become divine, you are divine, I am not for it. I find it difficult. Why should I undergo this torture? Because it takes little more effort. Talking of faith, I am reminded of another experience. Many don't have faith. They don't believe in God. Where's the question of loving God, deep attachment to God? I want you, the mother divine. I don't even believe in God. 33 years ago, I was sitting in the institute library. Being from the physics, I was attracted to a book which, I don't want to give the title, and the book had at the end of it an argument between atheist and theist. And the argument went on. The atheist was just tearing apart all that faith that I had. But yet I was egoistic, I think. I said, I don't care for this atheist. My logic is more. I have more belief in God than this atheist's non-belief in God. And I read it. As I finished reading it, I felt, Swami, I know I shouldn't have read this. Because I already know that you are there for me. I have experienced you. I didn't need this. But Swami, sorry, Swami, please just make me happier. Forgive me and just make me happy by telling something nice. And I go to the spirituality section. From the physics, I went to spirituality section. And I just pulled out one Sathya Sai speak. Believe me, brothers and sisters, this is the truth. I have not seen a discourse. I opened a page, the first line, it was the title of a discourse and the first line of the discourse. The line begins like this: why do you bother about arguments between atheists and theists? No. That is not the end of it. Swami says, what a lesson. I know the book was written by a Nobel laureate, but this was nobler than Nobel laureates who was giving this discourse. Swami says, The argument between atheist and theist is a foolish argument. Both are fools. Both are fools. They are like two fools standing on the ground and looking at an aeroplane flying in the sky and saying, is there a pilot? Is there a pilot? What foolish people. Swami said, there are only two ways for them to know whether there is a pilot or not. Yes, you need to know. But there are only two ways. One, fly up, lift yourself, enter the cockpit, see for yourself. Two, let the plane come down, let it land, let the pilots come out, and you'll know whether there is a pilot. What an amazing analogy. From Dasoham and Shivoham, Swami says, either I say, I am God, I am God, I am God, and lift myself to the divine, or I say, no, I am your servant, I am your servant, I am your servant, I am your child, and the mother comes running and lifts you. Yes, both of these approaches, the first one is a little dangerous. I am God, I am God, I am God, is for a few people who have risen to that level. Swami always reminded us, Bhakti, tell Dasoham, no, I am your servant, and yes, help will come. What is the advantage of belief in God? What is the advantage of belief in God? Yes, so what? Very simple. If you believe in God, you will be at peace. You will have immense courage. Spirituality is not for the weak. It is for men of, muscles of iron, nerves of steel. Yes, it is for the courageous, not for the meek, not for the timid. You will get peace untold. I was in Kodaikanal, and it was raining heavily. It was night. The lights had gone off, and there was thunder and lightning. I was standing on the balcony in Kodaikanal and watching the torrential downpour on the lake. It was frightening, to say the least, in simple worldly terms. There was a student next to me, and I looked at the student and told, how peaceful we are. I'm feeling so peaceful. Not at all affected by this storm. You know why? Just next to me there was a thin wall, and inside that room was sleeping Bhagawan. Just imagine, the master of the universe, the controller of the destiny of all, the controller of nature, he's there. This natural storm is looking like a movie show. I'm enjoying it, We enjoy all kinds of things in a movie show. I was just a witness, and I was at peace. Brothers and sisters, how difficult, yet it can be simple, if when the storms of life trouble us and tear us apart, we can just remind ourselves that Swami has told. There he is, right here. A thin wall is separating. He's sleeping there. He's sitting there. Right inside you, he's there. Will he not protect you? Is the storm going to affect you? That's it. The key for faith, Swami says, faith in God. I had that faith that it is Bhagawan who's the director of this cosmos. That faith gave the peace. That faith in God gives us peace. While, the world is in pieces. Today, in India, why in the world, our education system has spoilt everything to such an extent that we have forgotten our spiritual roots. Swami said in a discourse, the entire cause for all the unrest amongst the student community is the fact that spiritual education is just forgotten. Education has become a means for earning money, dabbu. Nothing else. If only we know that Swami has told us. I'm reminded of Arnold Toynbee, who said, it is already becoming clear that a chapter, it's a great British historian, after doing research on 12 civilizations, he writes this, it is already becoming clear that a chapter which had a Western beginning will have to have an ancient Indian ending if it is not to result in the self-destruction of the human race. At this supremely dangerous moment of human history, the only way to salvation is the ancient Indian way. For it is here that we have the spirit that can make it possible for the entire human race to grow together as one family. Unquote. That was Arnold Toynbee. Swami has told us time and again, right here on this podium, a few years ago, I don't want to name the year, Swami said, very soon India will become the leader of the world. Brothers and sisters, we are seeing that happen. Even as the world is in turmoil, India is slowly and steadily rising, because the divine has willed it. And just think of your great good fortune sitting in this center where the entire drama is unfolding, the triple incarnate of Shirdi Sai, Parthi Sai and Prem Sai, which has willed this uplift of Bharat as the back to its pristine glory. One day, sitting in the interview room, there was a lot of crowd for birthday, and Swami had called us for an interview, and it was as if everybody was in Parthi. I just took the courage, and Swami had given some freedom. I said, Swami, the Prasanthi Nilayam is becoming a world center. Swami looked into my eyes, and pat came the reply. Not world center, it is becoming the world itself. Just another minute, pause over and think of what this is. The director of this cosmos has told this, it is becoming the world center. What does it mean? It is becoming the world? Lord Ganesha was told to go around the world so that he'll win a prize. Instead of going around the world, he went around Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, his divine parents, and said, for me, they are the world. Why are they world? Why are they the world? Because I can get everything that I want from them. Why is Prasanthi Nilayam going to be the world itself? Because everything that you want, you can get here. The Lord, Supreme Lord, has willed it so. Everything that you ask for is available in this Prasanthi Nilayam if you believe that He is the divine director of this play. Brothers and sisters, as we come to an end of this session, let us never be dispirited, dejected, or frustrated. Swami, all my life I worked for you. Swami, I prayed to you, I loved you. I've been doing everything, no result, Swami. I never had. Swami has told, thumping the discourse table. I have told this many times to the students. Swami says in his discourse, Nammaka chadani varu ee lokamlo unnaru kani, nammi chadina varu ee lokamlo leru, leru, leru. This is how Swami used to thump. Those that have suffered on account of lack of faith, there may be some, but one who has suffered after having faith is none, stamped by the divine director. If we believe, if we have faith, yes, everything will happen. We need not worry that it's the last minute, my breath is rolling out, nothing has happened. Madras Srinivasan, the ex-All India President of the Sri Sathya Sai organization, was in USA, in New York. He was to return to India that day, and in the morning, he rings up to another devotee. And as it happens, when we talk of Swami, we forget time. I'm not looking at my watch. We forget time. And Sir started speaking about Swami and his experiences. And as he was speaking, time rolled by. Suddenly, he looked at the watch and said, oh my God, my flight, 20 minutes are left, gone. I missed my flight, Swami. I was talking about you. I was thinking about you. I was working for you. I have done everything that I can. And here I am losing He put down the phone. He was on top of some multi-storied building, as there are many. And he rushes with his suitcase into a lift. And as he gets into a lift, the lift is going down. It stops midway. 3 gentlemen get into this lift. And they start talking, exchange words. And they ask him, who are you? He says, I'm so-and-so. I'm from India. I missed my flight. Oh, is it so? Which flight is it? XX123, that's my flight to India. And I'm going to miss it, but anyway, I'm in a hurry. I'm going. These three gentlemen look up and then say, oh, XX123, we are the pilots 123 for that XX123 flight. Never is a moment spent in love of God wasted. Cannot be. He was taken without security check right into the aeroplane cockpit, and he had the most beautiful, safe flight back home. Brothers, as we come to the end of our life's journey, if our heart is crying, Swami, you have not listened, don't worry. He knows when. He knows how to do it. In the nick of the moment, even if life is ebbing out of you, believe, be convinced. The pilot shall come, the plane shall land, and he'll be there right in front of you to take you safely home, make you sleep in the mother's lap, in peace, no pieces. You'll have permanent, eternal happiness. Swami, I can't help but having this prayer to you. May, till my last breath, may I love you, may I think of you, may I praise you. Swami, I know my true identity. As you take me back into your lap, into your eternal home, I and you will be one. But you know this opportunity to love you, this opportunity to think of you. Didn't you say, Swami, I separated myself from myself to love myself? Is that not the purpose of life? Let's think about it. And all I can pray, Swami, let me praise you till the end of my life. I will sing your praises. I will sing your praises. I will sing your praises forevermore. I will sing your praises. I will sing your praises. I will sing your praises forevermore. Jai bolo Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki. Jai bolo Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki. Let's praise him one last time, louder. Jai bolo Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki.